Okay, ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm sure that all of you are fine and enjoying the blessings of Almighty Lord. Thank you so much, Miss Amna. So today we have two interviews, and before proceeding further towards the interviews, the first one is of Miss Amna, and the second one is of Miss Amna and Miss Fiza. We have two interviews today. Okay, before proceeding further towards the interview, I want to discuss something important with you. I'm sure that you guys are spending your maximum time with your studies. That's great. So, participants, so far we have discussed all important literary terms, devices, and a lot many other things. Today, I'm going to recommend you some books, some wonderful culmination, and you requested not to miss these books. Okay, not only book but important characters as well. So these books and the characters, they are going to help you a lot in your upcoming interviews. After recommending you these books, we will proceed further towards the interviews, the MOOC interviews. I'm sure Miss Amna and Miss Fiza both are with us today. Well, participants, the first book that I will recommend you definitely, that is The Old Man and the Sea. इन किताबों को आपने मिस नहीं करना है, ये हाईली रिकमेंडेड बुक है और आपके लिए कमीशन के जो एग्जाम्स हैं, जो पीपीएससी और केपीपीएससी और एसपीएससी के एग्जाम्स हैं, इंटरव्यू हैं, उनमें ये आपको काफ़ी हेल्प आउट करने जा रहे हैं. सो यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू मिस दीज बुक्स इन एनी वे. But my suggestion is you guys are requested to go through the summary and the quotation, the themes, the motifs, the symbols from these books. Along with the name of the books, I will recommend you some important characters from this particular culminations. You are supposed to prepare these characters as well. Okay. The Old Man and the Sea is the first book written by Ernest Hemingway. Everyone is well aware of Ernest Hemingway and the contributions of the Hemingway. So you guys are requested to read The Old Man and the Sea. Especially, you will not miss the character of Santiago. You will not miss the details about the character of Manolin. These two characters are important. So when you will cover the summary and the rest of the details, you are requested to prepare these two characters in detail. The second book is Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice, a very famous book by Jane Austen. There are a lot many characters in the novels of Jane Austen, but you are supposed to prepare the character of Elizabeth, the character of Darcy, the character of Jane Bennet, then another character, Lydia, and the last one is, that is going to help you a lot, Charlotte. So these characters are important from the Pride and Prejudice. The rest of the characters are important, but these characters outshine the other characters. So you are requested to browse the details, because in a lot many interviews, they are covering the ask and asking the questions that are directly or indirectly related to these characters. At number 3, we have Adam Bede, and I'm sure that you know the name of the writer. Adam Bede, written by George Eliot, Mary Ann Evans. So two characters, Adam and Dina Morris, plus Haiti. These characters are important, so you will not miss the details of these characters. At number 4, we have Oliver Twist. And I'm sure that you know the name of the writer, a very famous person. By the way, who's the writer of the Oliver Twist? Let's see how many of you know the name of the writer. Oliver Twist, a very famous novel written by Dickens. All right. Yes, Charles Dickens, Dickens, Dickens. Okay, and you are not going to miss the character like Oliver Twist in itself. Then you are not going to miss the character of. There are a lot many characters, but you know the character of Mr. Brownlow. Then the character of uh, a very famous one, by the way, Toby. Then after that we have Mr. Bumble, and last but not least, obviously I have already mentioned it, Oliver Twist. Okay, at number 5 we have David Copperfield. For David Copperfield, once again the writer is Charles Dickens. So I'm sure that you will not miss the very novel David Copperfield by the Charles Dickens. So James, the character of James Steerforth, plus Uri Heep and David Copperfield. Three characters are important. The last one is David Copperfield. I don't know why it's not writing. It's not working. Okay. Sorry. Okay, at number 6, we have Gulliver's Travel, the famous one. By the way, who's the writer of Gulliver Travels? Who is the writer of Gulliver Travels? It's Jonathan Swift. Okay, so the first character is the character of Gulliver, and then you will go on and read the details of the emperor. Okay, then the third character is the character of Gloom Dalgleish. Gloom Dal Clitch. The character is very important. Then Lord Monody. Moreover, do not ignore Yahoos. So these are the more than enough, because obviously there are a lot many other characters, but we are talking about those characters that we cannot miss at any cost. So these characters are there that you are supposed to prepare, and you at least try to have a look before your interview, because these characters will definitely be there in your interview in one way or another way. Okay, at number 7 we have the Return of the Native. By the way, who's the writer of The Return of the Native? A very famous novel. The Return of the Native. Return of the Native. Yeah. It's Thomas Hardy. Well, the most important character, Climb, is there, so you are not going to miss the details of Climb and Diggory. At number 3, you have the character of Miss Eustace. And then you will go on the details of Thompson Ubright. Okay, at number 8, we have Romeo and Juliet. So who is the writer of Romeo and Juliet? Who is the writer? Romeo and Juliet? Okay, nobody knows who is the writer of the love story. William Shakespeare is the writer of the Romeo and Juliet. Well, in Romeo and Juliet, you are supposed to prepare the character of Romeo, first of all, then the Juliet. After that, their character of Friar Lawrence. then the character of the nurse, and then Lady Capulet, and then Lady Montagu. So these are the characters that you cannot miss from the Romeo and Juliet. Okay, then we have Hamlet, the famous one by William Shakespeare. I'm sure that all of you have read the Hamlet. So Hamlet, from Hamlet, you are not going to ignore the character of Hamlet, Claudius, Polonius, Ophelia, Laertes, and the ghosts. At number 10, we have King Lear. And once again, the writer is William Shakespeare. So the details of the Cordelia, and then Goneril, and then Regan, plus Gloucester. These details are important, but do not ignore Edgar and Edmund. Okay, so these are the details about the 10 most important books that you will cover for your interview. And what you are supposed to cover. I have already mentioned that the characters, some important characters are there, but whenever you prepare any book, please keep it in your mind that you are not supposed to read you're not just supposed to read the summary of the book. Definitely, the summary is you can say the main part, but after all, the summary is not covering all the things. Whenever you try to cover a book, I will recommend you are supposed to cover 9 parameters for that. So first of all, whenever you are reading the summary of any book, my recommendation is go for the summary of the book. But like when I'm talking about the summary, there are two type of summaries, like the brief summary and the detailed summaries. So in case you are going to take that writer as a favorite writer for your interview, you are not supposed to go for the brief summary. Definitely the long summary, the detailed summary with analysis is going to help you out. So after reading the summary, I have requested you to go through and search out the details of these characters. You will definitely visit the list. You will prepare these characters. And whenever I talk about these characters, you are requested to prepare, like if you're preparing King Lear, you need to understand what is inside the King Lear, what is going on in the mind of King Lear. Okay. The third parameter that you need to follow while you're preparing your summaries is to have a detailed insight about the literary devices. For example, if you're preparing a book, how many themes are there? Okay. Should I write down all the details? Are you writing down? Because we have the shortage of the time. Should I write down all the details that I'm speaking? Are you noting down all the details? Because I want to cover the maximum things. I'm waiting for the answer. No need, sir. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are noting all the details. Thank you so much, Aisha. So at number 3, you are supposed to prepare the themes and then motifs. Basically, themes and motifs, they're the different thing. So the difference is already there. Like motifs are basically, we are talking about the structure, what is recurring time and again and again. So themes and motifs should be there. Then you need to understand how many symbols are there. Definitely it's not possible for you to cover all the symbol from these 10 books or 20 books or 30 books, but at least you should keep all the things in your mind when you're talking about your favorite writer, or you're talking about your favorite age. Okay, then the details about the protagonist, who is the protagonist from the specific play or the novel that you have prepared, and why he is the protagonist, what is the very definition of the protagonist, that is important, that is going to help you a lot. Okay, so after reading the detail of protagonist and antagonist, the setting of the play is very important. Okay, for example, if we are talking about the settings of the King Lear, the very important tragedy by William Shakespeare, King Lear is set in ancient Britain, and the setting is several centuries before, even before the arrival of Christianity. So why William Shakespeare went for the Great Britain? So why pre-Christian settings? So what are the views? Maybe you need to revisit all these details. Last but not least, what is the style of the writer? That is also important. And when I'm talking about the style, I definitely mean I want to point it out the language. Like what is the language that the writer is using? So वो जो आपको emotions बता रहा है, like he is mentioning loss, deprivation, anger and misery, and he is talking about all the positive things. ओके, सो हमें जो है जब हम स्टाइल की बात कर रहे हैं, हमें ये समझने की जरूरत है कि वो जो उसके अंदर करेक्टर की स्पीचेस हैं वो आपको पॉजिटिविटी की तरफ लेके जा रही हैं या आपको नेगेटिविटी की तरफ लेके आ रही हैं. द लास्ट थ्री पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हमारा क्या मुराद होता है जब हम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू की बात करते हैं. डेफिनेटली ये जो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, हमें जब आप देखते हैं कि जो करेक्टर्स हैं वो सफर किस तरह से करते हैं. ठीक है, अच्छा, पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के दो तरीकेकार हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, एक तो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू जो है आपके पास जब आप कोई बुक पढ़ रहे होते हैं, एक ऐसा एटीट्यूड है जिसे आप देख रहे होते हैं, किसी भी लिटरेचर को देख रहे होते हैं, किसी भी करेक्टर को देख रहे होते हैं, कोई नरेटर है वो स्टोरी सुना रहा है, वो उसके पर्सपेक्टिव से देखते हैं, जिसमें आथर ये चूज करता है कि जो कहानी सुनाने वाला है उसका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है. सो नरेटर जो है, जो उसका पॉइंट है, उसको वो एक्शन को किस तरह से देख रहा है, ये हमारे पास पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू होता है. ठीक है, हमारे पास जो है, अब हमें ये पता चलता है जैसे हम जो है मुख्तलिफ भी स्टोरीज को पढ़ते हैं, पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू को देखते हैं, तो हमें ये पता चल जाता है कि उसमें जो नरेटर है वो कौन सी साइड लेना चाह रहा है. ठीक है, सो फर्स्ट पर्सन है, सेकंड पर्सन है, ओमनिशिएंट नरेटर है, कौन सा नरेटर है, ये हमारे पास चीजें जो है वो एक्सप्लेन हो जाती हैं. एट द एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी आई वुड लाइक टू कंक्लूड कि आपको जो है बेसिक टेक्निक्स लाइक उसकी टोन क्या है एंड ऑल द थिंग्स दैट द राइटर हैज यूटिलाइज्ड, all these things should be on your fingertip. So this is something जो हम कवर करना चाहेंगे कि आपको इन चीज़ों को ज़रूर देखना चाहिए. इंशाल्लाह कल की सेटिंग के अंदर जो है वो अब हम मॉक इंटरव्यूज की तरफ बढ़ते हैं. कल आपके साथ जो है वो आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर the next 10 important books that you are supposed to cover before your interview. And definitely ये जो characters हैं, you can go for the soft files, like you can Google the details of Adam and the characters of the other writers like Romeo and Juliet, Ophelia and Laertes, and you can make the soft copy so you can revise them easily. So these characters are important. So that is something from my side. So in case you have any question till now, you're requested to put your questions in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move further towards the first mock interview. But tomorrow we are going to cover the next important books, and I will try to communicate the next important 10 books that you are supposed to cover for your interview. And please do not miss these books in any way. These books are highly important for your interview because one way or another way, these books are the part of all the universities of the Pakistan. So a lot many writers, a lot many people, they have already done their hand in glove with these books. Okay, so moving on from here, let's request Miss Amna. Miss Amna, you're requested to raise your hand so I can unmute yourself. You are Amna Nemat. Okay. Oh, all right. Thank you so much for raising your hand, Amna. You're requested to unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Good evening. Walaikum assalam. How are you, Amna?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm perfectly fine. How do you do?
Pretty good today. Thank you so much. So should we proceed further towards a formal interview?
Yes, sir.
All right. Amna, फॉर्मल इंटरव्यू में आपने 2-3 चीज़ों का ख्याल रखना है. पहले ये, आपने परेशान कहीं पर भी नहीं होना है. ठीक है, एक जनरल इंस्ट्रक्शन है सभी के लिए भी. और दूसरे में आपने कोशिश करनी है कि सिचुएशन को हैंडल करना, उससे निकलना आना चाहिए. So
Yes, sir.
ये चीजें इसलिए कि आमतौर पे जो बिकॉज यू हैव मेंशन कि आप ये पहला मौका है तो आपने घबराना नहीं, ठीक है। ओके जी,
Okay, sir.
starting right from your introduction, Amna, please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for this, for giving this opportunity to me. I am Amina. I belong to a small village of district Sor. Sir, I have had masters in English in 2017. Since
Mm-hmm.
then, I have been teaching at different government colleges as a college teaching intern. And meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
I have also served for, sub-examiner for BAS Lahore and participated in many seminars to explore my knowledge. And at the same time, I have always been serving in character building society, especially at Government Chandu Begum Degree College, Kanganpur, Kasur. And after that, being a social genius, I am still working in my own community, especially for its educational prosperity. As far as my hobbies are concerned, I read books and I love to watch dramas, especially on the feministic themes regarding how women are being still, still exploited in different areas of Pakistan, especially Sindh,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And I also love cooking. As far as my inspiration is concerned, I had been quite inspired by Santiago, the famous character of Hemingway.
Thank you so much, Miss Amna. Talking about your city, that is the name of Kasur. Kasur is
Yes, sir.
famous. There are a lot many notable personalities. They are from Kasur. So, can you mention the
Yes,
name of just 4 to 5 personalities that
yes,
inspired
sir.
you the most?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, definitely will be Baba Bule Shah, and I also got inspiration from Madam Noor Jahan, whom I
Mm-hmm.
love to hear her music. And there is the other personalities. There are some political figures also from Kasur, like Malik Muhammad Ahmad Khan, Mr. Kasur Ahmad,
Mm-hmm.
Khurshid Mahmood Kasuri. And
Mm-hmm.
now there's also a renowned political figure, Colonel
That's very
Muhammad
good.
Hashim.
That's great. So you have mentioned the name and you have mentioned that the influence of Bhule Shah is there. May I know the complete
Yes, sir.
name of Bhule Shah? What do you know about Bhule Shah?
Bulle Shah's the name basically is Muhammad Abdullah Shah Qadir, and
Mm-hmm.
he belonged to.
What is the history? What is the story of this Qadri? From where Bhule Shah took the name Qadri?
So
What do
actually,
you know?
Baba Bulle Shah
Mm-hmm.
belonged to Sayyid caste, and he was
Mm-hmm.
pupil to Shah Anayat Qadri. So that's why he has
Mm-hmm.
taken this Qadri from Shah Anayat, who was Arain. There was a conflict in those days when
Mm-hmm.
Baba Bulle Shah, started to take intuition from Shah Anayat Qadri. And you might have heard that there was conflict in the family because Shah
Yeah.
family was not in favor of taking this mentorship from an Arai family that was
Mm-hmm.
of Shah Nait Qadri. So I can recall there was a famous coffee of Baba Bule Shah that was
Mm-hmm.
their Ale
Mm-hmm.
Nabi means because they were belonging from Sayyid caste. ਸੋ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਚੁੱਲਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਆਂ ਲੋਕ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੈਯਦ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਕਰਦਾ ਬਰਿਆਈਆਂ ਮੰਨ ਲੈ ਬੁੱਲਿਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਪੱਲਾ ਰਾਈਆਂ so Baba
Yeah,
Bule Shah has
definitely.
also answered
Hmm.
yes
मन
sir
ले भुलिया साडा कहना छड़
Bab
दे पल्ला राइयां आल नबी
palla
उलाद
raiyan
अली नु तू क्यों लीका लाइयां. So in this last line ये लीका लगाना क्या होता है? आल नबी उलाद नबी नु तू
sir
क्यों लीका लाइयां. हम्म.
So actually, they were in the point of view that Sayyid caste is, caste system is very much effective still in Pakistan. They were of the view that Sayyid caste is superior and the Arai is not as much superior. So that's why Baba Bule Shah's father was also Imam Masjid. So they were in favor that Baba Bule Shah should not join to Shah Nait Qadri, who was an Arai. So that was actually the actual conflict was that. But Baba
Last
Bule Shah had
last
sorted it
question,
out in a
last
very
question, last question from the very काफी ये जो भी आपने पढ़ी जे तू लोड़े बाग
yes,
बहारा
sir.
जा जे तू लोड़े बाग बहारा चाकर हो जा राइयां बुल्ले शादी जात की
Yes,
पहचाने
sir.
शाकर हो तो इसमें जो चाकर हो जा राइयां से ये लाइन क्या डिपिक्ट करती है मतलब क्या है सिंबल क्या है इसमें
Actually, that was the response that Baba Bule Shah had given to his family members and friends who were in his way to, they were hindering his way to join Shah Naik Qadri. So Baba Bule Shah answered them, जो को सानू सैयद आखे जो को सानू सैयद आखे दोजख ਹੁਣ ਸਜ਼ਾਈਆਂ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਾਈ ਆਖੇ ਬਿਸ਼ਤੀ ਪਿੰਗਾ ਪਾਈਆਂ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਲੋੜੇ ਬਾਗ ਬਹਾਰ
yeah
ਚੱਕਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਈਆਂ
that's fine
he he
Miss
he
Amna,
was
what is the difference between a Sufi and a Maulvi?
so Maulvi is one person who has adopted religion, I would say, for the service of religion, and he is also taking his bread and butter from that particular that I would say that is profession. But when it is a Sufism, it is the preachment of Allah's message, especially in separation, and there is there is no financial conflict and tickle with these Sufis and those people who serve Islam. So I would say Maulvi
Okay.
would be like a professional something, and Sufi is not like that. It is pure religious preachment of Allah's message.
All right. Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly the same. So what is the total population of Kasur as per 2017 census,
So,
Ms. Amna?
as per 2017 census, there are 30 lakh, almost 34 lakh and 50,000 plus people are residing still in district Sur in the four tehsils of Kasur.
Okay, you have mentioned that you have worked as sub-examiner already. So my question is, what are the 5 major drawbacks of our educational system that you have observed while you were evaluating the papers, the copies of the students? 5
So,
major flaws, 5 major faults.
so there's I would say there's lack of practice. The students were having the major mistake was that they do not know how to answer the question. If the question is in past tense, they were answering like if the question is how did what the old man had grown, they are narrating the question and they answer as the old man grows, the old man grew. They do not know that they must answer in that particular sentence in which the question is asked. So I would say this was the lack of practice in especially in our institutions that had caused this hindrance for success. And the second one was that so I would say the methods of teaching are not as much fruitful, especially for English, that I have noticed during my marking session. And third one would be, so the students even do not know how to present their paper. There was a tussle between that. They have mentioned the question number 1, but the answer was not given of that particular question. Answer was of question number 5.
So is it the fault of the teachers who are teaching there in the government colleges? It means they're not working efficiently?
So as far as government colleges are concerned, I have also worked in that particular colleges. There is a system of evaluation that is very weak. There is not a good structure present to take tests, because we were allowed only to take monthly tests or December tests, etc. So I tried to take tests after a week or after 1 week or one chapter, but that was not possible to take because I was having 4 lectures, and in every class I was having 150 plus students. So that was not easily manageable to assist so many students in 45 minutes.
Okay.
So if we just met our schedule Saturday and we planned with them that there must be a day or 2 days in a week, we have 2 or 3 sessions
Fair
for
enough.
tests.
Miss Amna, you have mentioned while you were answering the question, the old man. I am sure that you're talking about the story Clearing in the Sky. That is the second story. My question is, what is the theme of the story and who is the writer of the second short story?
So its writer was Jess Stewart, and
Mm-hmm.
the theme of that particular story is that it doesn't matter how old you are, or how you are physically weak, or you are having any disease.
Just
Actually,
in a single word, just give me the theme, a single word maybe that is going
so,
to work here.
so it would be I would go for firm determination and work hard and fruit of work hard.
Okay. What if I say that the love for nature is the theme of the Clearing in the Sky?
So definitely it would be because Jess
Because,
Stewart
you
has
know,
present.
the old man was a heart patient. The doctors had advised him a lot many times not to walk or do anything, but still he is neglecting the advices time and again. So I think it is love. So when we say love, that means when like we are not going to follow any rule and regulation. So don't you feel love is the when we're talking about the themes, love for nature is the most appropriate theme here.
I think you are very right, sir. But that was not only love for nature. That I would say there was also responsibility of that old that old man, that he has to raise his family. So it was not possible for him to only to take rest and to be shifted on his bed and wait for death.
All right, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so the last thing that you have mentioned about your feminism. So you have
Yes.
mentioned you are working on the feminism, and you have referred particularly about sin. Can you mention five important incidents that bound you, force you to name? Because there is KPK, the Punjab is there, the Balochistan is there. So why you have specifically mentioned the name of sin? Something special is there in sin?
So
We're talking about the
actually,
feminism.
in
Hmm.
the recent years, I was a continuous reader of BBSC, sorry, BBC. So there was, I found a page written by Noorul Huda. She is also writer of some dramas of Pakistan. So on that page, I found so many incidents that motivated me, that forced me to watch those dramas. Like that there is a tradition of Vani, and she has presented a drama Sami over it. And there was also an incident that is blurring in my mind, that was regarding Karo Kari. And these particular
Hmm.
traditions forced me to watch dramas like Sami. I had recently watched Sangima and Udari.
Hmm.
In these dramas, the actually
Hmm.
the pathetic life of the woman that belongs to that particular district scene that is being showed how they
But
are struggling.
I have seen like Ajaib Ghar. I have also seen the Hawa Ki Beti. I have seen Ajnabi Raste. I have seen Zara Si Aurat. So I do not feel that such type of feminism or the extreme feminism is there.
So I would suggest you to watch Sami, and
Hmm.
then Udari, and then there is also a trilogy, Sange Marmar, Sange Ma. Uh, then you will
Hmm.
definitely find these things in those particular plays.
Okay, so you want to say in sin, women they're facing more violence in this modern age than the earlier times as well. Is it your claim?
Yes, sir, because there is still Vadera system. One of my colleagues was also belonging
Mm-hmm.
to there when I was serving in, especially the government degree college Kasur. She also
Mm-hmm.
told so many tales or so many, incidents that were having that were still being practiced in Sindh. So although they people have shifted to district Kasur, but still their relatives were residing
Okay,
there.
Miss Amna, talking about from the perspective of sin, I'm sure that you have read the details of Women Azadi Conference. Have you? Do you know what Women Azadi Conference is?
So you are talking about that particular Aurat March that is being practiced in Pakistan.
No, I'm not talking about that particular word, I'm just talking about the Sindhi Women Azadi Conference. and I'm referring back towards that was happened 2 years back in 2020. So they were, attending the conferences and all those things. My question is that what is the role of Women Azadi Conference in upgrading and uprising the status of Sindhi women?
So I might have read about it because I was watching these things in the last 2 or 3 years back, but at
Mhm.
present I am unable to recount it.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
There's a poem because you have worked as college teacher internee, a Sindhi woman in
Yes,
first
sir.
year. What is the name of the writer of that poem?
So Sindhi Woman is written by
Hmm.
mm, John Stolzworthy, if I'm not wrong.
Oh yes, you are not wrong. Talking about the theme, what John Stolworthy is talking about. So, can you recite some lines like barefoot through the bazaar and with the same undulant grace as the cloth blown back from her face? Can you complete these lines?
No, sir, I am able to recall them at present. But I
Okay.
definitely know the theme, and the theme was the struggle of that particular woman and how she was struggling, and how actually the theme was definitely of hard work and duty, because she was performing her duty with a very, very honestly, and she was working with the head erect. So the poet wants to mention that those who perform their duties, at the end they get success, etc.
Okay, all right. In your introduction, you mentioned the name of Ernest Hemingway, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Why Hemingway? Why not other writers?
So actually, I fell in love with him during my school days,
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
I, for the first time, I read The Old Man and the Sea, because I was the seer of my class. So having so many, visiting school library, so I got
That's
opportunities to read translation works. So in those
that's
days,
very.
yes, sir.
That's very good that because you have mentioned you fell in love with a Hemingway. So I would like to know the name of any poem of Hemingway that you have read, not about novel, the poem of Ernest Hemingway.
So poem I have not read. Actually, I have always been interested in novels. So
Okay, like have you read the Empty Spaces by Ernest Hemingway? Empty Spaces.
no, sir, not yet.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to do. I'm going to recite some lines. You are supposed to tell me the theme because Hemingway's theme, they are like motif, they reoccur throughout the text. So the line
Yes.
is, if there's empty spaces in your heart, they will make you think it's wrong. Like having empty spaces means you never can be strong. So what he's talking about? What do you understand?
So that I am getting that this is about
Okay,
the
we are going to rejoin this session